Welcome back to TISS Prep. So yesterday TISS has officially released the admission process for its 3 courses for which it is taking admission through CAT. So these are the only 3 courses which TISS is taking admission through CAT. Else all the other courses, MPH, MSWs, Development Studies, Public Policy, all the other remaining courses, Psychology, they would be taking admission through CUET-PG. So in this video, we are just discussing about these 3 particular courses, and it is a completely new process for them, and what is the process they have set. We'll look into that and also the nuances of it. Okay. So the first course is the HRM course. Okay. Intake is 60, but usually the intake is around 75 to 78. So they do not put it officially, but supernumerary seats are there. So every year around 72 to 78, any number, they take admission for that. ODCL, the number of seats are 35. So this is specifically for people who have 2 years of work ex and a proper work ex. You need to show your work ex. Okay. The fees for the HRM course is 2 lakh. The fees for the ODCL course, that is a self-financed course, so its fees is around 10 to 11 lakhs. And the Master of Hospital Administration, many medicine students take up this course. Now, unfortunately, they'll have to take CAT for it, but the number of seat is 60. Again, the fees for this is 2 lakhs. So these are one of the top flagship courses of TISS. All the other courses are really good as well, right? Analytics course, labor studies and practices, those are the courses which are also doing good, offers good placements and job opportunities. So those are through CAT. So we are just taking our discussion with respect to these 3 courses. So these 3 courses, admission is through CAT. So we have seen the fees, we have seen the number of intakes. Let's take further. Okay, so it's a 2-step process. First, they'll call you for the interview and the interview selection process, and further the final merit list. So for shortlisting the student for the online assessment, or call it interview, this is the process. First, so to shortlist for the 2 courses, HRM and ODCL, the process is that they will consider 95% of CAT score. Most of it is now dependent on your CAT score, and 5% for your gender diversity, so you cannot do anything about it. So gender diversity marks will be given to female and transgender. So mostly getting a call from TISS for the interview is now completely dependent on your CAT score. Okay, fine. Now they have also given the minimum percentile. So this is not the cutoff, this is the minimum cutoff that you need to have. So for various sections, for various categories, the cutoffs are pretty low. All the other B schools really keep comparatively a higher cutoff, somewhere around 80 or 70, but they have kept a lower cutoff. But anyway, that will not affect, because people with higher percentiles would be applying for it, or at least 95 plus percentiles people will be applying for it. Also, the number of seats are also less. Okay, so this is it. So you would be called for the interview only dependent on your CAT score and 5% of your gender diversity, which is not in your hand. Now, talking about the MHA course, because a lot of medicos take up this course, and this year, because the notification came so late, so they didn't get sufficient chance to prepare, and for them, because they are non-mass background students, so it takes a lot of effort to actually prepare for CAT. A lot of effort to even think of preparing for CAT even. Anyway, so they should also apply for it. For them to get the call for the interview, 90% of CAT score, again a very high weightage, 5% on gender diversity and 5% on academic diversity. Okay, 5% on academic diversity. So we'll discuss about the academic diversity later on. So the important point to note is, for the HRM, okay, you do not need to have any sort of academic diversity to get a call for the HRM. You do not need to have any sort of academic diversity, no year gaps, no 10th, 12th or your graduation marks is being considered, at least for getting the call for the interview. Again, for their minimum cutoffs, they have laid down the minimum cutoffs for each of the sections, and that's pretty decent, not much to worry about. comparatively less than any other B schools that they usually do. But again, with what intention they are taking CAT, that's another thing to discuss, specifically for the MHA course. Now coming back to this, let's talk a little more about MHA course. So it's a very specialized sort of a master's degree, not a proper MBA degree as well, and very specialized that you'll be mostly dealing in healthcare industry. So there are sufficient sectors in healthcare industry as well, but you'll be restricting yourself too much. So when you are taking a big decisions to take MBA, you should be very clear that you really want to pursue your career in particular sector, healthcare sector. For medicos, they want to have a different career, maybe aligned to their graduation, BDS, BHMS, BAMS, etc. So for them, it's not a big decision to either select or not. But for the normal graduates, it would be a big decision. So do not make any impulsive decision just because on the basis of the better placements. The placements of MHA is really around, if you talk not the high numbers, it's around 10 to or 14 lakhs on an average, and slightly less as well. But anyways, it offers a good placement, it has a good alumni base, healthcare industry is actually growing, so you have good opportunities over there. But non-medicals, you only choose when you really want to get into this particular career. Else you will struggle a lot during your college years and further in your career, because you will always be competing mostly with the students who have a medical background. Okay, so but still, as they have already opened it for everyone, so you do have the opportunity. But it does not means that it would be, things would be very easy for you. So you will have to think a lot for taking admission into the course. For applying into the course, you just have to pay and nothing else. So it's a very good course, MHA. Okay, now let's talk about selection, final selection कैसे होगा. Final selection का process भी फिर उन्होंने बहुत simple. You'll be called for the interview on the basis of the given criteria that we have just seen. For the HRM and ODCL, CAT score 70%, 10 graduation marks. So here your graduation marks is considered, not your 10th marks, not your 12th marks, only your graduation marks. An online interview which is 20%. Now guys, TISS is very particular during their interview process, and they give very bad marks and very good marks to get high quality students in their batch. So its interview is really a serious effort that you need to take. You cannot go to the HRM interview of TISS with just the basic or generic interview preparations for the other BA schools. So you'll have to deep dive sufficiently into the HRM aspect, specifically for the ODCL as well. They ask good questions, specifically with the organization development, change, and a lot many other things. We'll discuss those in the coming videos when required. Again, for the MHA, the whole process of selection, your CAT score is to 80%, and your online assessment, which is the extempore 10%, and 10% is your interview. So again, you see that 70%, 80% is high, has a good weightage given to CAT. Normally at this stage, other B schools brings down the CAT weightage to 50-60%, but they have taken 70 and 80%. Okay, so this is very important, and it's a good thing as well कि CAT score ज़्यादा weighted है. But the problem with the CAT score is कि even if scoring 95 percentile and 99 percentile, there is a big marks difference. When you go close to the percentile, the difference of marks increases a lot. When you are at lower percentile, the difference is not much. Anyway, so this is what exactly the selection process is. So graduation marks is 10%. So how will they give the graduation marks? So they have given a detailed table for that, like the other BE schools as well. So you can see here for the MHA, there is no graduation marks taken into the account. Only for the interview call, their graduation marks would be taken into the account. Okay, but and that too only 5%. But for the HRM and ODCL, 10% of the graduation marks. How would that works? Let's see. I hope this is quite visible to you. So they have distributed the graduation stream into various sections. Okay, AC1, AC2, AC3. AC1 is basically the medicine section. AC2 is the professional courses, AC3 is the business courses, BBM, BBA, etc. Most of the students would lie into AC4 and AC6, which is BTech, BArch and agriculture, etc. And B Pharmacy also lies into AC4 and AC6. So B Pharmacy students, do not think that you would be lying in AC1. So not very bad distribution of marks. If you have been an average student, you would definitely be scoring sufficient marks in your graduation marks that would be allotted to you, right? So this works for HRM students for the final selection in the second stage. For the MHA students, this should be utilized in their interview call stage to get the interview calls. So make sure that you're not making any mistakes. Now, if you do not belong to any of the categories mentioned, you fall into AC6. If you do not belong to any of the categories mentioned, you fall into AC6. AC5 is arts and humanities. So for the lesser marks, they have given a better. So just a difference of 5 has been accommodated here in AC5. Look here, at 60%, you get 1 mark. At 50 itself, you start getting the first 1 mark, and so on. This chart or the whole PDF would be shared to you, the link would be shared to you. So not to worry, it's not very complicated and you cannot do anything about it. The best part is this, you cannot do anything about it. Most of you are already graduate, or you are about to graduate. So things are not in your control. The only thing that is in your control is your CAT marks and the interview preparation. Interview preparation in tests or giving an interview is a serious work. Let's come here. Okay, so timeline. What is the timeline that would follow? So they have released the notification yesterday, 9th December. So they are taking application till after CAT. So I will not suggest you to apply for TISS at this point of time, because after taking CAT on 24th November, you will be able to at least approximate what sort of percentile that you will be getting, and accordingly, if you have 95 percentile above, you should try your luck in the HRM and ODCL. If you are above 84 percentile, you should definitely try your luck in MHA. But make sure, guys, you are taking MHA when you are sure about it, that you want to build a particular career, because you will it's just not about taking admission in TISS, it's also about pursuing that course in TISS for 2 years and being a good student over there to avail the best of the opportunities. Okay, so do make sure that you are making a proper decision about it. So correction window 10 to 12 December, 10th February, they will shortlist the students for the interview. So going parallel to the IIMs a little fast than that, but anyway, admission and counseling, this will happen on 15th and 18th January. Your DAF application, detailed application form would be open. So you'll have to fill up questions, write short essays about yourself, reasons to take up this course, give your bio sketch and so on. So we'll be taking in our interview course. Also, you can join our WhatsApp group where we actively share all the information related to test preparation. We do have a course as well. So do join that group. You'll get all those information and updates, and that's an open group. You can discuss anything as well. Also, your personal interview is scheduled from 25th February to 12th March. So roughly they are taking 3 weeks of time, 2 or 3 weeks of time. Your result would be declared by 4th of April. Okay, your result would be declared for 4th of April. So this process and CUET PG process are two complete process. For the other courses, CUET PG itself will happen in mid of March. Results will take another 1 month of time. So they'll go with the same extended timeline of taking interviews in May and final admission in June. But for these courses, because it is through CAT, they have to be competitive, because students would also be getting final admission calls for the other B schools and IIMs. So they have to be on that particular timeline. So one last thing, yes, the application fees, it's not very high. For general candidates 1750, OBC and EWS 1250, SC/ST 750, and others as well 750. So filling this form would depend, fill this form after your CAT exam, because you will get an idea ki kitna percentile aa raha hai, right? So then only it would be wise enough to invest money, or you should try your luck or not. Till this point, this is it. Hopefully they'll also come with the CUET PG admission process, but there is nothing new that they would do in CUET-PG, because last year the whole admission process was through CUET-PG, and they do not have much control over CUET-PG as well. Because it's conducted by NTA. They have also given an approximated timeline when the CUET-PG would be conducted. CUET-PG will be conducted in March first half of 2025. So those students who are started late, want to apply for MPH, want to apply for labor studies and practices, want to apply for social entrepreneurship, want to apply for analytics course of TISS, you should definitely write CUET-PG. Also, there are other courses in other universities as well through CUET-PG, which will come in coming videos. Will put those information. So this is again a better exam which is slightly late. You have good time, slightly easy, comparatively easier. So you should definitely give that chance if you have started late, or if the exams do not go well, so you at least have somewhere to perform and get the best of the opportunities that you can avail. So that's pretty much. There is nothing much to discuss, but yes, TISS has given a good weightage for the CAT admission process, CAT score in the admission process. But again, as usual, last year the CUET-PG weightage was 75% and 25% was the interview. So roughly that is the same this year as well. But they weigh down interview very heavily so that they ensure that the quality students are there in their batch. So preparing for interview for TISS is quite very important. That's it. Any questions, anything to discuss, please put in the comment section. We do reply to your comments, so do it.